Welcome back. It's time for High Desert Highlights. I'm Still Haugen, and that's Peyton Thomas. And Peyton, we're finally in the postseason.
Finally, and this year we have 6 Central Oregon's teams still in the running at the start of tonight for a state title in their respective classifications. But there's only one who enters this year's playoffs as a top seed, and that's Summit in 5A. They get Gresham at home in the first round.
Yeah, and Summit, they're looking early to send a message, and this is a toss play to Jude Anderson to the 20, the 10, the 5, a touchdown. Now the Gophers, they're trying to respond back to pass. It's intercepted by Dylan Hughes. Can he get to the end zone? Spoiler, not quite, but he's just barely at the edge. Then it's Andrew Guthrie. Play action. He says, who got that interception? Well, let's just reward him here. Hughes wide open for a touchdown. A few plays later, it's Anderson again with a little shake, a little bake, some moves, and when he turns on the Jets Peyton, he's out of here.
He zipped through that line pretty quick.
And he's an aggressive runner as well. Now Guthrie, quick throw to Connor Keneally, who pitches it back to the big fella, 280-pound sophomore Peter Stanley.
Yeah, Peter's not going to forget that score on the trick play. How about that?
Big man's dream right here. Look at this scamper in the end zone. And the poor defender, I mean, just never had a chance there.
Nope.
Just fantastic.
Can't tackle that freight train coming through. I have a feeling we'll see that play again.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, wow, wow. And if we just keep going here, counterplay to Keneally, jukes some people out of their shoes before going down, and then just a quick out to Wills Canary, wide open, easy score. Now listen to this, Peyton. Summit took a 50-10 lead at the end of the first half.
First half,
Peyton. And the Summit Storm, they do win big, 57-10.
Didn't take long to get them on the gas pedal there on the west side of Bend. Mountain View, the other local team, starting the postseason at home. The Cougars enter as the 3 seed tonight. They get Hillsboro in the opening round. Mountain View, well, they're going to start things out on offense, and they pick up the first down pass to Braven Pyler in the flat. And Pyler, well, he tries the stiff arm and gets rid of that first defender and then goes down. Later in the drive, Cougars facing a 4th down. They try the tunnel screen, but can't pick up the first down. Hillsboro makes the stop. Now that puts the Spartans in pretty good field position. This is the first snap of that offensive drive. Whoop! Jaden Jangala jumps the pass and gets the pick.
See how he got to the inside leverage here? That's what's key.
Yeah, they're right back on offense. Mountain View now leaning on their backfield in the next drive. Valenzuela breaks a tackle or 2. Man, never easy to bring that man down. Later in the drive, it's right back to the workhorse back. Valenzuela, just an angry man running down the field between the tackles there.
Yeah, not just speed, but power, and it's on display.
Yeah, he's the hybrid right there. Things going well until this. The pass from Tulin is dropped, and this is ruled a fumble. Didn't look like the receiver had much of a chance. Didn't even have a step with that football, but it's picked up by the Spartans, and they flip the field. Mountain View able to get the stop, though. Into the second quarter, it's still scoreless in this game, so not quite the start that Summit had on the other side of town, but Ryder Carpenter looks to change that. He breaks the counter run outside to right and gets 6.
Yeah, and you know, it's a sneaky play there. It looks like it's going one way, and the next thing you know, it's a touchdown the other way.
Great blocking on that play, too. Cougars get a stop and are back in Spartan territory. This time it's Valenzuela on the carry, and Valenzuela, he trucks a defender at the goal line and pushes it in for another Mountain View touchdown, 14-0. Just 10 seconds in the half now at the time of this snap. Cougars decide to get aggressive. The pass goes back towards the far sideline. Valenzuela, he gets it, fools everyone, breaking it down the sideline. 21-0 Cougs. He broke the plane of the end zone with just 3 seconds left on the clock in the first half. Out of the locker room, Hillsboro trying to get things moving. They look into the backfield, but the pass is dropped. That was a backward pass. Live football, Mountain View picks it up and falls on it inside the 10. Pretty easy game plan from there. They go back to Valenzuela. Valenzuela gets into the end zone on the pass, and Mountain View rolls the 3 seed, taking down the 14, 41-0, and the shutout. Brings us to tonight's first scoreboard, and these were 2 teams, Steele, that we expected to win tonight, and both of them delivered a show.
When you're the number 1 seed and the number 3 seed, you're expected to win big, and they send a message to the brackets across the state.
All right, Lava Bears enter the 5A playoffs as the 12th seed this year. They head to Thurston tonight, and we had an upset alert early on in this one. The Lava Bears, they punch it in from the 1-yard line, and that's after getting an early field goal. So midway through the second quarter here, Bend actually up on the 5 seed, the Colts, 10-0. Then the Colts quick to answer, though, later in the half. Cooper dropping back to pass. It doesn't come out clean, and Thurston forces the turnover. They get the interception. Colts would score on that ensuing drive, take a lead into the locker room, and then come out and do this in the second half. Right back into gear. Lava Bear secondary loses the Colt receiver there on the post route. Bend not done yet, though. They're down by 11 late in the third, and they hand it off to the freshman, Trey Lawrence. What a breakout season for that young man.
Yeah, yes, a bright future.
It does. It puts Ben back in the game, but middle of the fourth, Ben can't get the stops they need. Thurston able to pull away and sends Ben packing in the first round of the playoffs, 34-17.
Yeah, and Ridgeview, they took on a tough Wilsonville team. I told everyone to watch out for this game. Was it close? Was it right? Let's get to it. Now, this is just a touchdown pass courtesy of Ridgeview Athletics. This is Gage Hobbs to Finn Chambers, and it was a back and forth game. The Ravens and the Wildcats, the Ridgeview actually had the lead in the fourth quarter. It could have gone either way, but unfortunately it went the Wilsonville way. They won 45-42, but what a game.
What a game, and really a chance for a huge upset on the road. Wilsonville just a winning program. They find ways to get it done in the fourth quarter, and like you said, Steele, Ridgeview had that fourth quarter lead, gave it up. So both Bend and Ridgeview on the road, they are knocked out in the 5A bracket. With that, we got our first look at the 5A bracket after the first round. Steele, this sets up some interesting quarterfinal matchups coming up next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, on opposite sides of the bracket, Summit and Mountain View, and this is where it gets to the real deal teams. I mean, these are the top dogs right now. I cannot wait for next week.
Yeah, Mountain View facing a really strong Dallas team, and then Summit will get West Albany, who had the upset on the road tonight. All right, stick with us. We have smaller school action coming up on the other side of the break.
Welcome back. It's time for some smaller school football action. Now, the Sisters Outlaws, they finished the season with a 7-2 overall record. They hosted the 6-3 North Valley Knights. First quarter, the Knights intercepted on their goal line. That's Hayden Morris, and the Outlaws have the ball. Now, Sisters quarterback Hunter Bronson, he finds some room with a keeper. He gets to the outside. Great run before he's finally pushed out of bounds. Now, this eventually leads to a touchdown run by senior Ethan Eby. Fantastic year by that running back, and the Outlaws strike first. Now, Peyton, 20 seconds left in the half. All Outlaws need to do is not get a penalty. They get a penalty. All they need to do is not give up a big play. They give up a touchdown. Game tied. Now, this is about 15 seconds left. What does North Valley do? Onside kick, unbelievable. Even more unbelievable, they get it. So what could happen?
The Knights get it.
Very little time. That's the Knights get it. Again, they do it again. This is right before halftime. They scored 2 touchdowns in less than 20 seconds to take the lead at the end of the first half. Now, this is very, very late in the game. About 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. That field goal by North Valley is good. That gives it a 17-7 lead, a little out of hand, but game not over. Outlaws need something big, and they get something big in the form of a great Spencer Davis return in great field position. Now, quarterback Brunson finds an open Tabor Garcia, and this is what you need. A big play, get out of bounds, stop the clock, but just a little too late for the Outlaws. You can see the clock tick, tick, ticking away, and that's exactly what happened. Fourth down, that's a no-go. Incomplete. The season comes to an end for the Outlaws. They fall to North Valley 17-7.
I mean, this is just a classic, gritty defensive game. Sisters have played a couple of those this year, but those 2 touchdowns in 20 seconds.
Gosh, 20 seconds left in the first half. They give up 2 scores. The only 2 scores North Valley scored all game long. It's just a game of inches, right?
Couple of backbreakers right there. Let's take a look at the 3A scoreboard. Now, a number of these games are set to be played tomorrow, but with Sisters out, still a number of teams that are in contention here, but Cascade Christian, just a dominant force this year.
They look like the real deal right there in that 3A classification.
Yeah, they won their game in a shutout and scored more than 60 points today in their first round. So keep an eye out for them if you're watching 3A.
All right, and finally, last but certainly not least, the Culver Bulldogs in the playoffs. Surprise, surprise.
Like every year.
Not. They're in it again, and they go on the road to face Sandy Am. They punch them right in the gut with this run. First, a 50-yarder up the middle. Ouch. And then a few plays later, they go inside. Why not just go to the outside this time? Breaks free, gets that corner, finds the edge, and no catching them. Touchdown. Now, second half, why not just, make things a little easier and just have a fantastic kickoff return? That's exactly what they do. They get some great field position. They really took advantage of their opportunities here, Peyton.
And that's what you have to do when you're on the road in the playoffs. You're going to get a limited amount of opportunities. Culver took advantage.
Now that was Sandy M desperately trying for something, but intercepted by my very own cousin, Joel Taylor.
How about that?
Game-sealing interception, number 14. Very proud of you. Now, Culver, they go into Santiam and they upset the Wolverines, 34-22.
That's an 11-6 upset. That's the only local upset we had tonight. And that brings us to a look at the 2A bracket. Culver up in the top right there. They'll take on Bandon in the next round on the road. Bandon a 3 seed, and Culver, they haven't been as battle-tested this year as many other years, so definitely a tough matchup for them next weekend, but I'm not sure Bandon really knows what they're getting with the Bulldogs
we talked about this earlier. Culver, they fell low in the rankings to have a 1 loss all year long, and they're ranked, number 11 coming into the year? I don't know. They could surprise people.
Well, I think you saw that tonight with the upset over the 6 seed.
Absolutely.
So Culver still alive, Sisters eliminated out of 3A. Stay with us. Top plays and another look at the 5A bracket coming up. Welcome back. It's time for tonight's top plays.
Yes, it is. Now, let's go back out to Summit. I cannot get over this play. A little trickery, a little fun, a big man touchdown. 280 pounds getting in the end zone, Peyton.
I think we call that a thick 6 in the world of high school football. Peter Stanley, you're not going to forget that touchdown anytime soon. Not sure how many he'll get in his high school career, you know.
In the playoffs.
In the playoffs. Gotta love when a trick play works to perfection. Keneally draws so much attention from those defenders, and that just frees up Stanley for an incredible. This is one of my favorite plays all year.
The thick 6. It's maybe the top play of the year, but we still have some playoff games left, so let's not get too ahead.
Let's see if Summit gets creative next week in their playoff game in the quarterfinals. All right, now out to Mountain View for our next top play. This game was scoreless heading into the second quarter, and it was this Ryder Carpenter touchdown that broke it open. What I love about this was the counter run. He was smart enough to break it back out towards the near sideline, and it was also the blocking that really allowed this to happen, setting the edge. Carpenter uses his speed to get to the outside, and Mountain View take home the win on the back of that play. That really sparked a lot of things for Mountain View tonight. Finally, let's take one more look at the 5A bracket steal, and Bend and Ridgeview both crashing out in the first round this year. Two really fun teams, two really fun seasons, but not to be too surprised that Mountain View and Summit are the ones remaining.
No, they were dominant, but Bend, like you said, early lead against their game, and then also Ridgeview, they had that fourth quarter lead. They were right in these games. No doubt in my mind, they could have been right here.
All right, we're looking at Mountain View, Dallas. Dallas, one of the strongest teams this year in 5A. That's going to be a really tough game to look forward to. Summit at West Albany. Summit definitely the favorite in that one, but never know what happens in the quarterfinals. We'll see next week. Stay with us.